This ant is not alive the way you think it is. Sure, it has legs. It has jaws. It can search, bite, carry, and fight. But on its own, it is almost meaningless. Because the real animal was never the ant. The real animal is the colony. And once you actually see it, it gets a little disturbing. Look closer. The ants crawling underground are not workers. They are moving body parts. The trails they follow are not roads. They are chemical nerves, firing signals through the soil. The soldiers at the entrance are not guards. They are an immune system. The queen is not a ruler. She is an organ. One giant egg-laying organ the rest of the body keeps alive. And the nest is not a home. It is a body. So when you step on a single ant, you are not killing an animal. You are scratching one cell off something much, much bigger. Biologists actually have a word for this. They call it a superorganism. One creature made of thousands of smaller creatures, where no single piece is in charge, and somehow the whole thing still acts like it has a plan. No brain, no face, no voice. And yet this thing farms its own food, builds cities, raises livestock, goes to war, performs surgery, and makes decisions. Let me show you. Because every single one of those is real, and it only gets weirder from here. First, let us talk about how big this really is. Right now, at this exact moment, there are around 20 quadrillion ants alive on Earth. That is a 20 with 15 zeros after it. If you gathered up every ant on the planet and put them on a scale, they would weigh about as much as every wild bird and wild mammal combined. We think of ourselves as the species that runs this planet. By the numbers, it is a tie. We are sharing first place with something that lives in the dirt. So how does a body with no brain hold itself together? Food. Ants share a stomach. When one ant finds something to eat, it does not just eat it. It carries it back, and then it throws it up into the mouth of the next ant, who passes it to the next, mouth to mouth, down the line. They call it trophallaxis, and it means the whole colony digests as one. Food, water, even chemical messages flow through every member like blood through a body. There is no such thing as one ant eating alone. The colony eats. The colony is fed. And those trails they follow? This is where it gets genuinely clever. An ant lays down a chemical scent as it walks. A good path gets walked more, so it gets more scent, so it pulls in more ants. A bad path fades. With no leader and no map, the colony automatically finds the shortest route to food every single time. It is so good at this that human engineers stole the idea. The math that helps route delivery trucks, phone networks, and internet traffic is literally called ant colony optimization. We are taking logistics lessons from a smear of bugs. Now, farming. Leafcutter ants do not actually eat the leaves they carry. Those little green parade floats are not lunch. They are compost. They haul the leaves underground, chew them into a paste, and grow a fungus on it. A fungus that exists nowhere else on Earth, because they have been breeding it for over 50 million years. They weed it, they fertilize it, they keep it at the perfect temperature. And when a bad mold tries to invade the garden, they dose it with antibiotics they grow on their own bodies. Humans invented farming 12,000 years ago and felt pretty clever about it. Ants beat us by about 50 million. Then there is livestock. Some ants keep herds of aphids, like tiny cattle. They protect them from predators, carry them to fresh plants, and in return, they milk them, stroking them with their antennae to make them release a drop of sugar. They will even clip the aphid's wings so the herd cannot wander off, and carry their eggs into the nest for the winter. It is, by every definition that matters, dairy farming. Done by insects. Underground. Some ants take storage even further. In the honeypot colonies, a few unlucky workers are chosen to become living jars. The others stuff them with so much food that their bellies swell up like grapes, and then they hang from the ceiling of the nest, motionless, for months. When times get lean, the colony comes and taps them for a meal. They are not workers anymore. They are the pantry. They are furniture made of their own sisters. Then there is war. Ant colonies fight full-scale battles, front lines, casualties, territory that shifts back and forth for weeks. And some species do not just fight, they raid. Slave-maker ants storm a neighboring nest, steal the young, and carry them home. When those stolen ants hatch, they do not know any different, so they spend their entire lives working for the colony that kidnapped them. Some slave makers have leaned on this so long that they can no longer even feed themselves. Without a stolen workforce, they would simply starve to death in a pile of their own food. Surgery sounds like a stretch, until you meet the Matabele ants. They hunt termites, and termites bite back, so soldiers regularly come home missing legs. Instead of leaving the wounded behind, other ants carry them back to the nest. Then they treat the injury, licking the wound clean, and, when it gets infected, applying an antibiotic they produce in their own bodies. Ants that receive this treatment survive. The ones that do not usually die within a day. That is not instinct looking cute. That is triage. A working medical system with no doctor, no training, and no mind anywhere inside it. And then there is what they can build with nothing but themselves. Army ants do not even have a nest. They are the nest. At night, they link their own bodies together into walls and chambers, a living fortress with the queen inside. When they march and hit a gap, they build a bridge out of their own bodies, holding on while the colony walks across them, then dissolving and reforming somewhere else. Weaver ants go further. To stitch a nest out of living leaves, they pass their own larvae back and forth and gently squeeze them, using their babies as living tubes of glue. And when a flood comes, fire ants link legs into a single waterproof raft, thousands of bodies floating as one, rotating the ants on the bottom so nobody drowns. The colony does not have tools. The colony turns its own cells into tools. And it makes decisions. When a colony needs a new home, scout ants go out and inspect cracks and crevices, judging the size, the darkness, the safety of each one. A scout that likes a spot leads another there to check. Once enough scouts agree on the same place, a hidden threshold tips, and the whole colony commits and moves. No ant compared all the options. No ant was in charge. The decision did not happen in a head. It happened in the crowd. Here is the part that actually unsettles me. The pieces of this body are dying constantly. A worker ant lives a few weeks, but the queen, the core of it, can live for decades, longer than your dog, sometimes longer than your cat and your dog combined. The cells turn over again and again while the creature itself keeps going. A colony is born when a queen starts laying. It grows, it matures. After years, it spends its energy making new winged queens that fly off to start bodies of their own. And then, like anything alive, it gets old, it weakens, and it dies. Not the ants, the animal. So step back and look at the whole thing. Every feat we are quietly proud of as a species, agriculture, livestock, cities, medicine, war, even democracy of a kind, a brainless smear of insects stumbled into all of it first. And the scale keeps climbing. There is a single supercolony of Argentine ants that stretches thousands of miles, across multiple continents. Billions of ants who meet as strangers and treat each other as the same body. By some measures, it is one of the largest living structures on the planet. And it has been spreading under your feet this entire time. So the next time you see one ant wandering across your counter, lost, alone, looking kind of pointless, remember what you are actually looking at. Not an animal, a cell. A single cell that fell out of a creature with no brain. A creature that farms, herds, fights wars, takes slaves, heals its wounded, votes, and builds nations in the dark. You were never sharing your house with ants. You were sharing it with something much, much bigger. Sleep well.